Welcome back, MTG Joe here, and we're going to be playing some new standard. We are going to start off with a green-white enchantments build. There's a lot of enchantment matters cards from Kamigawa Neong Dynasty. We're going to try this one out. I got this list from Untapped GG. They tracked it at about 100-ish so games, and it's got a 55% win rate in best of one. I put together a sideboard if you do want to play best of three. This is kind of an initial thought. I haven't played much of this format, so the sideboard probably needs some tweaking as you play more games, but I could run through the thoughts there. But this particular version, there's a lot of Enchantment Matters cards. So we have kind of going through, we have Jukai Naturalist, 2 mana, 2/2 lifelink that reduces the spell, casting cost of our enchantments by 1. And we're kind of building as an overall theme as a hallowed haunting deck. So I'm going to kind of introduce this and then we'll look at the rest of the cards. So 4 mana, as long as you control 7 or more enchantments, creatures you control have flying and vigilance. And then whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you get a white spirit with basically this creature's power and toughness are equal to the number of spirits you have. So Army in a Can, whenever you cast, doesn't even need to resolve. So then we have Circle of Protection to exile creatures 3 mana or less. We have Michiko, Reign of Truth, the Saga. So chapters 1 and 2, creature gets +1/1 for each enchantment or artifact you control, pretty much in our deck enchantments. And then its flip side is a creature with power and toughness equal to the amount of enchantments and artifacts you control. We have Spirited Companion, 2 mana, 1/1 that draws a card. It's also an enchantment. Ranger's class in this deck fills a couple of roles. Gives you a creature, lets you pay mana into it to make your stuff bigger, as well as is an enchantment itself, is virtual card advantage in a Selesnya shell. We have Weaver of Harmony, so our other enchantment creatures get buffs. And then we could also target activated or triggered ability from an enchantment source. So for example, say you attack with Ranger's class, you're going to put a counter on something. Well, now you put 2 counters on it. If you're going to give a creature plus whatever, if you're going to exile a creature, you can exile 2 creatures. This would trigger, so then you get 2 spirits. So kind of a cool interaction there. A Borrowed Time just is an Oblivion style, ring style effect. Restoration of Janjo. Search for basic land, draw, loot, discard, so kind of value there to reanimate. You could get back any of these spells with it, which is really cool. It's a permanent, so it could also bring back a land if needed. So it's kind of rampant away there too. And then it comes back as a 3/4 vigilance that makes tokens spirits as well. That plays well with the hallowed haunting that are 1/1s. We have Wedding Announcement, that's just seeing play everywhere. So this one will give you creatures, can give you card advantage, and is an anthem. 1 Catilda, that's just a big body that we can also play out of our graveyard. That gives a buff. A couple value lands in our mana base. Cave of the Frost Dragon as creature land, as well as a lair. We have Ijanjo, Seat of the Empire, basically a way for us to 3 mana uncounterable deal 4 damage to attacking or blocking creature. We have Boseiju, destroy artifact, enchantment, non-basic land, and then they ramp. And then a Field of Ruin, so kind of some more answers there. Sideboard, like I said, I haven't played a single game of best of 3, but this is kind of my thought if you do want to play it. Curse of Silence is going to be coming in for, say, if you want to name Meat Hook Massacre, Blood on the Snow, just slow down sweepers. If it's a specific deck, like you know that they're going to be playing a Goldspan Dragon or something like that, just a card to kind of tax your opponent that way there. I think it's a little bit more resilient than Thalia, because a lot of times those decks, like a Meat Hook, you could just do 1 more. It's not the end of the world. Thalia is not going to slow them down too much. And then post-board, they bring in more targeted removal anyways. Paladin class, against any of the kind of counterspell decks. Also in the mirrors with stuff like Wedding Announcement, it's copy 5 of the, and 6 potentially, of the Anthem effect. Outland Liberator for any sort of enchantment, artifact style decks. Another Borrowed Time as catch-all removal. Tameo Safekeeping. So I opted for this over Snakeskin's Veil. Kind of the difference is they both give hexproof. Snakeskin will give a counter, but I think the Indestructible is probably more relevant for a sweeper if we have key cards, stuff like that. Faithful Absence as removal, Valorous Stance versus like Lier, Goldspan Dragon, Hullbreaker Horror, anything like that. And then a couple Wandering Emperors as kind of grindier card against control, stuff like that. I was actually playing some mono white with 3 copies of this, and the card's really cool. Just instant speed gives you a different angle of attack. So we'll play, I'm gonna play some best of 1 games, just fool around with the deck, see where we're at. We'll go from here. A lot of mono white on the ladder. Ran into a couple enchantment decks when I was playing today on mobile. Crokies' artifact deck ran into that a couple times, and then just every flavor of Orzhov under the sun. So we'll see how it plays out. Let me know in the comments what deck you've been playing, what you've been liking. Umari. Can I play Umari? Did I go to Historic? Oops. I think I went to Historic. Well, we're gonna find out. I think I went to Historic. This should not be illegal. So we'll go Midnight Haunting here. And then next turn hopefully pop off. We can do this, find a land. Yeah, I don't think we could beat 9 lives, but we'll see. Go Spirited Companion. So, if they have Solemnity, we'll just go to the next game. Yeah. Circle. Okay, so let's play the right format, but we can kind of see what the deck does there. So this is like the Historic version. How did I choose Historic? This new Payblade, like this new logo menu is so stupid. Okay, let's try that again with playing a deck for the right format. Honestly though, if we weren't against 9 lives, our drop was pretty sick. Because I would have, instead of doing the enchantment creature, played the one that gives the buff. Because then we would have had like 4 enchantments. Opponent goes first, hand looks decent. We have removal, we have pups, we have Elijah. I think we're overall pretty good. The XL is really relevant, I think. The one thing I really want to see is how we play into meat hook decks. So I'm actually going to play this first, I think. That's a little worse. Play draw is a little annoying here. So this is the mono white splash green red for we're just kind of dead here. They play the partners and they play Thalia. I have to do this now. It's not great value, but they also, this is kind of annoying. Alana and Alana. So do this. We might still be dead, but gotta try. kidding me? It's a freaking draw and a half. Thalia kind of screwed up our whole plan because we would have been able to in turn 2. That deck's actually really good. I keep losing to that one. I think the shell here is reasonable. There is that 1 mana enchantment creature whenever you cast. Sorry, so 1 mana creature whenever you cast an enchantment, you get counters on one of your creatures. That might be something to try out as well. Like there's a couple iterations. There's the one, it's the 2 mana trample, 2 mana 2/2 trample. Whenever you cast an enchantment, put a 1/1 counter on it, and then it's got like play out of your graveyard. We'll go restoration this turn. A couple different options. So we'll get the planes. Depending what they play out here, I can basically circle a protection. Yeah, so I'm going to get rid of the Righteous Valkyrie for free here. So we're going to discard Circle of Confinement. It's basically free cast. Get rid of Righteous. Are you playing Snakeskin Veil? Tamiyo's Safekeeping. That's still the right move, like every time. Next turn we go Hallowed Haunting. And then we just start getting tokens. They can gain a lot of life, but we can just start making like a bunch of tokens. Kind of annoying. It's fine. When that dies, we'll be able to do something. You don't have haste, so they can't really attack with the other stuff. I still think we go another Haunting here. If they go another Skyclave, they go. Can't really do much there. So Voice of the Blessed is going to gain him some life. Going wide here. So I could Circle Confinement Righteous, which is fine. So we do this because I want to get a land. Well, these don't have flying. Ew. Thought these had flying. So we might have had to go Catilda there, but I needed to get the Righteous off. So they need to gain 2 life here. It's probably enough for them to gain 2 life. Another creature. Jeez. We're just getting high rolled. Like, I don't think this shell's unreasonable. Maybe a turn earlier. Like, that safekeeping felt pretty bad. Maybe we should have gone earlier in terms of getting rid of Righteous. Just prioritizing it. It did slow us down a bit. Maybe we go... Because, like, opponent's deck just gets blown out by all the meat hook decks. For the most part, like Vanishing Verse, stuff like that. So lead on planes here. So I'm going to lead on this because this next turn I can draw 2 cards. Sujiri. Yeah, we're diamond 4. We can play Bruise. See what works, what doesn't. So I'd rather Circle of Confinement next turn. Because then I can get rid of 2 creatures. Can also set up the Haunting next turn, which might be nice. We'll see what they play out. I really like this line, just playing. So I'm going to highlight this, because I don't know if they know the Circle of Confinement trick. Okay, so they do. I think we're... We're okay to take a turn off. It's kind of annoying. Probably need to soak up 4 points here. So one thing, these are legendary lands. So I could take another 4 in the air to Elijah. I can exile 2. Which isn't terrible. Yeah, I think we do that. So we want the token here. So we're going to exile. Copy this. This interaction's been really sweet. Gonna exile the flyer. If we get another snakeskin, I'm gonna get really annoyed. Jeez. That's frustrating. Because this is 7 or more. Five, 7, so I need another. We're getting blown out by like the stupidest stuff. Okay, borrowed time. Copy. Okay, so exile you. Exile you. Might still be dead or close to it. We'll see. We shall see. So I got a block there. Taking 3 this turn. but I can make a bunch of tokens. So I think we do you first. Perfect. I needed a green land. One Alana and Alana's annoying. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. So next turn I'll be able to go 7. We might be able to steal this actually. Okay, so we're going 1, 2, 3. Okay. And they have vigilance. Nope. Just 2 in the air because this has reach. Should be okay now. An 11/11. And then these scale and get bigger. Sick. Okay. That played out a lot better. What I think we want though, I think we want Paladin class. Like playing this deck a bit more, these aggressive decks, because we have no play on 1, and on the draws we're a little slow. So like if we look at this deck, these Mishidos aren't going to do too much because we don't really have anything to play on 1. Ranger's class is pretty good. Enchantment. So we have a couple options here. So if we look at, like, we could play Paladin class, but I think I want a threat more than anything. So we have a couple options. We have Fangs of Shenge, just 1 mana Death Touch, can like trade pretty well. There should be... Do I just not have any? This one. Generous Visitor. Whenever you cast an enchantment, put a 1/1 on a target creature. This lets us kind of scale. There's this one as well, the Kami of Transcience, but this is another 2-drop, and we're already kind of heavy on 2-drops, I would say. So I don't think I'm really inclined to go too much heavier on those. So I think what we're gonna do, so we go Death Touch or just get bigger on other casts. And I think I want to try this out. I'm gonna go 3 copies and I'm gonna cut 1 Ranger's class. I think that's where I want to go to start off, because we have enough green on 1 that we can play. I think we're good. We'll try this out. Play the right format. It's unfortunate that start we had in Historic was actually like really, really good. I've liked what this deck's been doing. I don't know if we're just getting unlucky or like we've had 2 games where if they didn't have Tamio's protection, Snakeskin Veil, Tamio's safekeeping, whatever it's called, the games go dramatically different. Them having it kind of screwed us over. Usually what I do in these games is, especially on like land heavier hands, I'll hold the Elagios until later, because if we need a land we can play it. If we don't need a land, we're also good. Okay, so opponent's on a similar idea. I think I'm gonna go this because it lets me go into Hallowed next turn if need be. I could also play another Jukai. So they can start copying. So we have a couple options here. So we're going to play this out. So I could go Jukai and Circle of Confinement. That sets me up for next turn to go Haunting, but I don't have another white source. So we're kind of confined on white mana right now. There's the Weaver, that's a bit of an issue, and then this gets bigger. I can play this out, it doesn't. I can play this. I don't know if they're on bigger things. I think I like Jukai. Just gonna take the life gain here. Because I'm cool with the trade there, I think. This has trample, this can double up triggers, so if they have a circle, it's annoying. I think that's worse, because I could gain the life back, and I could get these bigger, especially starting next turn. Like next turn I could play out the Generous Visitor, play out Catilda, if I want. If we hit a white source. I could also just go Visitor. Oh, this might be the Runes version. There's one that's playing some of the Runes cards. Okay, so we got another white source, but it doesn't allow me to play 2 in a turn. So I think what we're doing, we're playing you out. We're playing you out. Putting a counter on you. Because then Catilda comes down and makes a token. I'll take 6 here. Because I could gain back life and I have Catilda, I'm less worried. So I think we Catilda here. You're not an enchantment creature, so worth just remembering. I was considering hitting this, but I wasn't sure if they had like a pump effect. You're an enchantment on the other side. Do I want to take 5? I think I'm trading here. Now we're just flooding, unfortunately. I could have Snakeskin. So you're naturally bigger, but I think we're just doing this. Put a counter on you. So I'm bigger here, so I think I continue trying to race. Because my thing is, if they exile this without me gaining the life, it feels pretty bad. We need an enchantment. Like, Restoration would be good. Borrowed Time would be great. Circle of Confinement. There's a lot of good cards we can hit right now. I think this is worth the trade. We're heavier on mana right now. I can cast everything in my hand. We're going to be 1-for-1-ing. Okay, so they're getting big buffs. And I'm getting nothing but lands. So again, just gonna continue. So I should have been mindful of that, them getting it back. They hit the borrowed time. It's awful. So I think for them, they go all in on Catilda, helps the race, but they're able to copy this as well. Like, that's such a top deck. We just get absolutely rolled there. Flooded a bit too hard there. When I could activate both modes of Ranger's class, you know you're in a bad spot. Okay, we're dead here. They just pop all the counters there. That's unfortunate. I don't think we want Ranger's class. It's been kind of shitty. The Safekeeper felt good. Let's try out 2 Kamis. But I want to play around with it, see what's working. So let's go up, down U. I still think I like these. Honestly, these hallowed hauntings have been kind of whatever. Maybe go down 1. The Catilda seems really good, so does the borrowed time. My concern is with like Vanishing Verse, it's worse. Let's try 2 Catildas. The fact Catilda can be like, even if it dies, we cast it from the graveyard, kind of a 2-for-1 effect. Like, the big thing here is, like, if we look at, say, Historic, you have all the draw style effects. So all the cast an enchantment, draw a card, you refill your hand a lot better. So this was one of the concerns I had just going into this deck, was how it plays out. We're seeing just kind of a wrong half problem. Okay, so sand looks pretty good. Weaver, we just need a land to start doubling. Alright, well we got a Lajo. So I could Circle of Confinement next turn double. If not, we go Spirited Companion, draw a card, try to find a land. They could have Portable Hole. No blocks. Hopefully it's not post-combat Thalia. It's always post-combat Thalia. Okay, so we got Wedding Announcement that can take care of the ground pretty well. I'm probably trading... Okay, that's fine. I still have Usher. Get rid of these 2. They don't really have good attacks. I think against the non-Naya version we're a lot better. The Naya version just gets a lot of incidental value. This has felt really good. If anything, like building around this, I think is something we want to do. I just don't know what the final kind of configuration would look like. I think we're okay doing this. With the lifelink, it's relevant. If they have an exile effect, they need to decide what they want to exile here. Could also copy wedding announcement triggers to get 2 tokens. This is an easy exile too. So exile Thalia. And we can take out like 2 for 1 and 2 for 1. So like even if they have an effect here, we basically answered 4 of their creatures with only 2 of ours. At a relatively low cost. We still have 2 wedding announcements in hand, so like even Brutal Cathar here, they have to make a decision. Okay, so they take care of that, but now I have access to my announcement. I also have access to Elajo. Elajo, get 2 planes. Then I could discard Wedding Announcement, cast Wedding Announcement. Seems good. I could also double discard Wedding Announcements. Okay, that's sick. I'm gonna hold back this turn. So they could have Paladin class here. That's one thing to be mindful of. Okay, so they Apparition. So they need to decide if they want the Luminarch pile or the other pile. Okay, so it's actually better for us. This deck's a bit weak to flyers. Okay, so I'm gonna take the damage here, or just take the trade here. So I can do this. Why doesn't it? Oh, 2 or less. 2 or less. Damn it. That was my mistake. That was my mistake. So I could go Hallowed Haunting. I get this back as well, which is pretty nice. I thought this was 3 or less, so now I feel kind of dumb doing that. It's gonna be a problem. So Thalia, the fact, well, they've kind of seen 3 in a way. So we're just gonna soak up the most damage we can. This just being a big body is nice. So I can do this, that's probably best. Oh, no, no, no. I should have copied it. That doesn't matter. I'm going to have to block anyways. I'll just throw this in front of a 1/1. So we'll see what they can do here. They can, if they have a land, go to the skies. I need a couple enchantments here. They always like... Gotta love how these mono white decks just... We're at 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 lands. They stop at 5. Are likely not that different. They're usually 23, sometimes 24. Okay, so let's see how we block here. So you block there. You block there. You block there. You block there. It's 8, that's Xaxes. You block there. Why doesn't it... Do I have to go into full priority? Did I miss something? That's frustrating. Alright, so overall, like, there's some novel things we can do with the deck, but it just seems like we're not hitting the right kind of mix. But let me know if you found a better build of the enchantments. Like I said, there's a lot of different ways to take it. I don't think these hallowed hauntings are necessarily where we want to be. I think the lower to the ground version might be a little bit better, but let me know what you think, and we will catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great one.